All right, this is a fun one. So we've talked about picking a single individual to picture in your mind as the person that you are helping, that you're there to help, as your avatar, and that perfect embodiment of your target market. Now we're going to talk about human motivators and how you can use them to propel someone to take action. Now, this is a powerful lesson. I've consumed a lot of marketing materials where when they teach this type of stuff, they make people like swear or promise that they'll never use this for evil, because when you understand how humans work, what motivates them to change, unless you're a good person, you can use it for evil. And I highly recommend you use it for good, for helping people to change in positive directions. You will be rewarded plenty by doing so. So there's no need to go sinister. Just but keep in mind, these are potent ideas that I'm about to share with you. They're powerful. You need to be very conscious about how you use them. And I highly recommend you only use them for good, both for yourself and for others. Now, something to pay attention with as I teach this, these ideas also apply to yourself. So we're talking right now about how to help other people make positive changes in their life and move towards something good, and in the process purchase a product, right, that hopefully is a good product that actually will help them achieve this dream state. Now, you can also consume this material through the lens of your own life, right? So as you're seeking to create um, if you're seeking to create change in your own life, to step into a dream outcome, a different life, what you're going to learn here will help you motivate yourself, will help you direct your actions. This is a very powerful lens. So as we go through this, keep those things in mind. This is a powerful lesson. This will be helpful for you guys. So with that, let's dive in. So humans are only compelled to take action for two main reasons. There's only two things. One, they're either running away from pain, or two, they are running towards pleasure. Now, it's our job as copywriters to understand both and to combine them so we can propel people forward toward a better life. I like this diagram. The face was kind of an ornery guy, so I switched it for a happy little emoji. But essentially, you're the copywriter, right? And you are helping these people, which is like the horse, right? You're helping them and propelling them forward by helping them run away from pain, and you are also helping them run towards pleasure, right? And this is how you motivate people to move the fastest in their life, right? Some people respond better to one side versus the other. Some people respond better to pain. Other people respond better to a positive thing to move forward to in the future. But generally, it's a combination of both that will help you help others change and make changes in their lives. So let's talk about both in greater detail. So the first one, running toward pleasure. Now, let's go back to the first one, which is actually running away from pain. Now, for most humans, this is the most powerful motivator. People are mostly afraid of loss. They are worried about risk reversal. They are worried about bad things happening to them. They're worried about, and they are motivated by pain and frustrating things in their life. It's a survival mechanism, right? It's how humans have evolved to stay alive. We run away from pain. Ooh, that hurts. That's fire. I'm not going to touch that again. Oh, a tiger is chasing me and he's going to eat me. That's a little more important than my self-fulfillment, right? Running away from pain is a powerful motivator. Tony Robbins, he was a famous guy, helped a lot of people change their lives. He had a statement, this I think is really true, and he said that change happens when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, right? So as a copywriter, you need to understand the things that they're currently going through, the pain that is currently in their life, and in some ways, you're going to help them amplify that or help them understand it a little bit better. And you're also going to help them understand that the pain of change is a little less than they think it is, right? But in order to do that, you have to understand that you have to understand the pain and frustration they're currently going through, right? I call this their current state. So right now in their life, this person, and you are too, right? You're in a situation, you're in a current state, and there are things that are good, things that are bad. There are things that are painful and frustrating, right? You need to understand the pain and frustration that those people are currently experiencing in their life so that you can agitate and amplify that to then propel them to leave their current state and move towards a dream state. So some things you can ask yourself is, what is painful or frustrating in the current life of my avatar? What annoys them? What do they fear? What do they lie awake at night worrying about? How do others negatively perceive them now? You want to think about these agitators that exist in their life, the things that they are dissatisfied with, they are upset with, they hate or despise or are painful for them, things that are frustrating, things that they don't like dealing with. You want to understand as many of these as possible in the life of your avatar, especially how it relates to whatever problem your product or service solves, right? What are their pains? The better you understand that, the better, right? The better you'll be able to amplify them and propel them forward, right? The other side of the coin is people running toward pleasure. So I refer to this as the dream state. People have an idea of some nice version of the future where the problems don't exist and they can enjoy nicer experiences. For someone to change, you have to, instead of just agitating their current state, you have to also present them with a compelling, hope-filled vision of the future, right? It's not enough just to agitate their pain and tell them to buy something. You have to show them how they can move forward and experience a better life. Now, a lot of people are really, really well acquainted with the pain and frustration in their life. However, not everybody actually can even conceptualize a dream state, right? They have some vague idea, but you are going to want to be able to present a rich and vivid and detailed vision of the future, right? And you're going to have to take control of that vision. It needs to be compelling and relevant to them, but it needs to be vivid and exciting and dynamic, and it's up to you to make it so. Some good questions you can ask to discover what this pleasure is or this dream state is that your avatar might want to move forward to. You could ask yourself and them, if they could wave a magic wand in their life and fix everything, what would their life look like? What would that new life look like? What enjoyable new experiences would they have? How would others perceive them in a positive or different light now that they're this new person living this new life? How would they feel about themselves if they made a change and were able to live like this? You need to ask yourself, what would make that so amazing? Like, why would they even want to move to this wonderful life? And sometimes it's obvious, but it's up to you to understand it and to make it vivid and exciting, right? You can describe the life of a multimillionaire traveling the world and enjoying all the finest things the world has to offer. And you can do it in a really boring way, or you can do it in an exciting, dynamic way. It's all on how you frame it, but it's up to you to look forward, get a detailed, hope-filled, compelling version of the future of a dream state they could step into if they're able to solve these problems. And it's up to you to understand that. That's the pleasure that they're moving towards. So the more vivid and dynamic you can be in understanding their pain and pleasure, the more powerful you can compel them to act, right? This is key. Most people have found ways to dull down the pain in their life, and they've found ways to dull down the vision of the future because they want to stay comfortable, right? Again, the pain of change is difficult, and so sometimes they will actually diminish the pain of their current situation in order to keep them from having to act. You see this all the time, right? You see these skinny guys that make fun of people who are physically strong and call them stupid and stuff like that, because it's a lot easier to just flip it in their mind and call someone stupid than to put in the hard work to earn something, right? So your prospects will have done this in many ways for the pain that they're experiencing. They will find ways to diminish it or to diminish the allure of a dream state. So the more vivid you can describe the dream state and the pain, the better you'll be able to spark those emotions, those motivating emotions inside of the reader. Bonus points, this gets a lot easier if you make the answers sensory. So those questions I asked about, the dream state or the current frustration, if you can put them in terms of sensory information, so visual, auditory, tactile, olfactory, gustatory, et cetera, right? Those 5 main senses. If you can encode the information and the vision of that dream state inside of those 5 senses, you will make it more vivid, more exciting, and more dynamic just by default. So bonus points, little thing to think about. So there's another point to keep in mind. The higher the importance of the pain and pleasure that you are talking about, the more motivating they are, right? So many of you have heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. He was some old psychologist, came with this pyramid. It's been pretty helpful for me in helping elevate the level of conversation, the level of pain and pleasure that I motivate my readers with, right? So the base, you have physiological needs, air, water, food, shelter, stuff like that, right? Then you have safety, then love and belonging, then esteem and self-actualization. Status is like a version of esteem, right? It's a pretty high thing up there, right? So if you sit and talk about the tangible, physical, whatever benefits of a product or some dream life, you can talk about a really boring way down the bottom, and it's not going to be that motivating. But if you can frame it in terms of status and love and acceptance and self-actualization and being the best version of themselves possible, typically that's more motivating, right? So the higher you can And you can't always just come in swinging with self-actualization. You usually have to kind of notch up step by step and kind of take them up this hierarchy. But the higher up this hierarchy you can connect that change you want to make, the more motivating it is, right? People act out of, like, this becomes significantly more alluring if you can somehow tie the product or services that you're offering or the change that you're inspiring them. If you can connect it to these higher order hierarchy of needs, it becomes more impactful, more compelling. So again, the higher up you can elevate the focus, the greater you can amplify their desire to change. But so we've talked about kind of those two main motivators, how to amplify them, how to understand them, how to learn about them from in the terms of your avatar. But now that you've got your reader all ready to take action, we've got the horse all revved up. If you've amplified the pain, you understand his pain, you understand the dream state that he's going towards. The next question is, how do you then direct them to solve their problem? So you've got them all ready to go. Where do you point that horse? Where do you point that reader now? And how do you help them understand how to move forward, right? And that's something I'll be talking about in the next video. But right now, you understand the two main human motivators and how they connect to getting people to change.